Well, so a lot of my books are actually multiple books combined into one,
Right.
right? So, for example, Cryptonomicon is a World War II book and a modern day book that are interleaved, and that's true of a bunch of my books. So this one is a high fantasy novel that's embedded in a techno thriller. And the techno thriller is about a guy who dies, and it turns out that when he was a younger guy, he came into a bunch of money. Was that my beard hitting the mic? Sometimes that happens. When he was a younger guy and he came into money for the first time, he signed one of these wills that gives instructions on how to preserve his body after he dies so he could be brought back to life. And then he forgot about it because he didn't really care. It was just sort of a thing he did on a whim. But then he dies unexpectedly, and his family and friends find this will sitting there like a time bomb, and they have to figure out how to carry out the terms of the will. And because the deceased is a billionaire, they can't claim that there's a lack of resources. He gets scanned. The way they do it is they scan his brain, and then later on he is brought back to life in the cloud as a digital simulation of a consciousness. There's nothing there, and he wants qualia. He wants something to be there. I've just made Alvy a very happy guy by working in his favorite word. Your brain is hooked up in such a way that it needs stimuli, it needs inputs, and he's not getting any of that, so he has to create them. And he starts to build a world that he doesn't have clear, coherent memories of where he came from, just fragmented, jumbled sort of memories, and so he begins to try to assemble a coherent world out of that and ends up building a world that's kind of like our world, but it's sort of a mashup of our world with the Bible and Greek myths and Lord of the Rings and whatever was going through his head. And then other people start showing up and sort of spreading out and populating this world. And that is the world in which the high fantasy novel takes place. And we know that it's a digital simulation, but the people who live there don't know that. It's as real to them as this world is to everyone here, raising the question of, is it just turtles all the way down?
Right.